Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pairs of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The principle of polarity brings us the dualistic nature of the humanness that we are actually experiencing. Everything has an equal balance. If you have a negative ion, you have to have the same equal positive ion in order for it to combat it. The universe does not find, in order for it to be able to be stable, and this is where the Hindu principle comes in between the Shiva and Shakti, which is quite interesting because when you read about it, it's nothing to do with the gods. It's about balance. It's about finding the balance between the masculine and the feminine. This is why the principle of unity comes in. When you are embodying a very feminine energy, the only way that you can balance yourself is by having the masculine energy be around you. So the world that we live in, because it's such a dualistic nature, we will have to be able to always find balance, and that balance is within ourselves. We do not need to seek it externally, because at the end of the day, what's external is our projections of what we want to experience, but what we actually experience within is what we can internally experience as a collective. At the end of the day, if you really look at how the world is conceptualized, we are living in a life, or I would say a matrix of nature, where the foundation principle is all forgotten. We think that we come into life, we have to do these certain things, go to school, get a job, have a family, experience that, and then we move. While there's nothing wrong with that, but the true essence within, the true soul within yourself wants to experience everything in totality. So when you're putting yourself in a situation where you want to be able to experience everything, and you are open to the universe being able to express through you and be able to express and experience through you, you understand that dualistic nature is literally its prime example of what is balance. Because without the yin, you can't find the yang. And without the yang, you can't find the yin. And that's where the beautiful part of being in between everything. With the shadow self, there's also the light self. With the light self, there's also the shadow self. And in order for you to be able to combine both of it and be present with it, in between that shadow and in between that light, that is the process of coming together dualistically. That is where the seat of your power resides, because neither does the shadow have self-judgment, because when you are working with your shadow self, you're doing things which are probably not morally acceptable or something that you find that is shameful, but then you have the self-judgment, right? And then that's where the ego takes over, and you go, oh well, I'm going to be able to I'm doing this, but this is the consequences of it. But the thing is, you have to have self-acceptance as opposed to self-judgment. Accept that you have done it. Come to your power that you have done it. Understand that the fact that you have done it is only the start of it, but the thing is, the accepting that you have done it and holding accountability for the things that you've done, holding actions of making sure that you're responsible for your actions, as I say. And then you have the light self, where you call self-righteousness, I would say. So when you do something good, you feel, oh, I did something great, I have to reap the benefits of it. But instead of having self-righteousness, you have to have self-humility. Having the humility of, wow, I am part of this universe, and I'm being able to expand and be able to potentially help people through my energy field, and that's such an amazing feeling that I can have. And when you come and combine both of that sectors in between yourself, you become individually sovereign. You're holding your power, you're holding your light, you're holding who you are. Who you are authentically is part of the shadow. Do not abandon the shadow. And who you are of the light, you do not abandon the light. Acknowledge it as well. And not everyone's going to be able to understand this because, everyone, so just say me, myself, and I had a friend. I was judging her actions on a certain situation, and because I have that self-judgment on myself, I would judge her harshly. But if you really look synchronistically, when you are judging that person, your shadow is doing the judgment for you, and then you have this reality where you are judging her, and because you're judging her, you're putting judgment on yourself, because that's something that you can see within your shadow as well. Because obviously, in order for you to be able to understand that that person is doing something wrong, you have to also hold that same vibration pattern. So the more you are able to be in sync and live your life in a way where you're authentically who you are, without needing the shadow, without needing the light, but you're just vibrating in a pattern of being in the present moment, that is where the polarity disappears, and you just immerse yourself in everything that you are and everything that the universe wants to be able to express. Without needing to be able to define yourself in the polarity, you just know exactly what is coming out from the shadow side and what's coming out from the light side, or what's coming out from the masculine, what's coming out from the feminine, and all of these different polarities. We are constantly being pulled. This is what the universe is. This is what's happening in the world at the moment. If you really look at it, Black lives matter, white lives matter. What about all lives matter? You're talking about the elites, then you're talking about the people who do not have any money. Then you're talking about, people who for the LGBTQI community, and the people who are not supporting the LGBTQI community. It's all separation. And in order for you to be able to heal that separation that's actually dividing communities, dividing people, you have to come one. Because we are all human. We are allowed to express ourselves no matter what. We are allowed to be who we need to be no matter what. And at the end of the day, the more we live through our heart, none of these things matter. Nothing. The fact that you are going to be queer, wear a glitter dress, I don't care. Because you know why? I love you for expressing who you are. And the universe needs that. The universe needs more expressionists. The universe needs more people to be able to come together and be able to express who they are authentically. Not just create a facade and create a mask and live a life where it's constant tangling between different people because different people know you differently. And that is where owning your truth comes into play. I understand that it's hard to be able to live in this polarizing universe. This duality is hectic. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, coming in one with the polarity and holding that light and holding and anchoring that truth of who you are is where the seat of your power lies. I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the podcast. This part of the YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the Hermetic principles. It's a very interesting principle as soon as you start exploring a bit more of what the polarity is, what you're trying to create. And as soon as you start doing that, you understand that nothing really matters. What matters is just the fact that are you living from your heart? Are you vibrating from a space of love, or are you vibrating from a space of self-righteousness, or are you vibrating from a space of self-judgment? Heal that. We are able to heal that. If you heal that from within yourself, and imagine every single person on earth living from a space of acceptance and love, the world would be a different place. And how do you change the world? You change yourself. You move into living within your heart, yourself. And from that space, you create the world that you want to experience. And the more people do that, the more we'll be able to change the energies that is actually controlling us at the moment. And I'll see you guys in the next one.